with a,
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
sounds like they're doing the same thing under a different name.
so they're not really doing the same, it is, yes, to a certain extent, but their focus is different. So it's not so much crime driven. We still have crime fighters in the precinct, we're still answering 911 jobs, but it's really more of a focus on these quality of life type issues that really need to be coordinated with other city agencies. They went for extensive training with sanitation, the DEP, and they have what they have access to now is Community Link, which I'm sure people have heard of,
Oh, yeah.
and we're able to get things solved very quickly through community.
Thank you, Dr. Wells. I'm from the Hamilton Heights Association.
Yes.
And former unit board member with the Alpha Environmental Committee. One of the issues that we're seeing in the community is that we have tons of trucks in all of the community. This is one of them.
Yes.
Falls right in the 30. No license plate. The problem here is not parking. Parking is a violation.
Yes.
But I can send some amount of data on the nitric oxide, these trucks spewed into the community.
Mhm.
And the adverse effects that it has on people's health, cancer, blood pressure and everything. And I think that this is something that we see, I would invite yourself for the 30th, the 2-6, we can go after this at 8 o'clock. And it is insane, because these trucks, they park in our community. They don't wanna pay for it. But the problem is that the park, when they turn these trucks.
Yeah.
These trucks, they spew their pollution into our community.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, everybody can see. Our lungs are the one cleaning their mess.
And we
Yeah.
I've seen it, Bono.
So we
And
have.
this-
Yeah.
That's an illegal 53-foot tractor trailer.
But where's that?
This is, this one is on 152nd road, this truck parks all over the place. The interesting part is that this truck has no plates or anything, but we have, not only these trucks, we have school buses. That these school buses, they're supposed to be at a depot.
Yeah.
Now, when you have the companies, they don't wanna pay for the parking. So they park it all over you see that bus there? The school is not operating, that bus will stay there all night.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if this is a 30 or 2-6, they're supposed to take it back to their depot.
Yeah.
And not drop it here. In the morning, you have that truck warm enough for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now multiply sometimes 200 trucks around here.
Yeah, so it's a legitimate concern. I hear your concern. I know very well what you're referring to. We had instances over the summer where people were dropping trailers. I don't know if anybody saw
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So part of the success of this program, right, is having the officers that have the ability to actually take the time to solve that problem. So your example here with the trucks is 100% why these teams were created. We have specific officers that are assigned to do traffic enforcement, like I mentioned. They have the access to the tow trucks. Part of the hurdle of us getting those trailers removed, I don't know if anybody's familiar with what I'm talking about, there are some trailers that were abandoned, similar to how they leave the trucks parked so that they don't have to pay for the parking, right? It took a long time, right? Myself, Jeremy here, we were go there, like you said, the plates are off, you gotta find the VIN number or whatever, if you can get some sort of identification. Ultimately, we got to the root of the problem, we called the leasing company or the management company that was in charge of the trailer, we get in touch with them, they come and move it at the threat of a tow truck, but it takes time, right? So a regular run-of-the-mill, I don't call it run-of-the-mill, but a police officer that's out running from 911 job to 911 job doesn't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
These teams now have the dedicated time to do that, to take that enforcement. So what I would say is I would encourage people to continue to make the complaints about that, and knowing that these Q teams are out there, it will get handled the right way. I can't go back in time and fix anything, but I think we're moving in the right direction forward to get these problems correct.
So Captain Rose, if we have a complaint, what number should we be calling?
Yeah,
No
so-
official number.
So depending on what the complaint is, right, 311 or 911, if it's an emergency, call 911, if it's something like this. 311 is a tool that we are using to guide the Q teams, and it's data driven, right? So we're taking complaints that come in through 311, we're analyzing that data and then prioritizing locations based upon number of 311 complaints to be put into our database, and then the Q teams are using that to coordinate to prioritize their response. So the more calls we get at a certain location, that's gonna be their focus. But something like this, where it's an illegally parked truck, if that comes through 311, the best thing would be to attach the video with it. If you can attach a photo of it, it makes it very easy for us to then go and correct the problem, and it'll be routed right to the Q team.
But the DOT has here the rules that the overnight parking for these vehicles.
Yeah.
They cannot be parked for more than 3 hours. Why are they not getting tickets?
The issue,
Yeah, right,
so it's not about ticketing them, the issue, I'll be honest, is getting a tow truck that can move it.
But,
Very limited resources with a heavy duty tow truck, so it takes a little bit of time.
but in city college right now in the back, this is a 2.6, it's not you guys,
Yeah.
it's a 2.6, but at nighttime, it becomes a parking lot of trucks.
Hmm.
If you guys remember the community, there was a whole uproar about 145th becoming a truck depot.
Mhm.
We have a deconstructed truck depot in MCB9. And sure, one ticket is not gonna do anything, but if they get a ticket every single night, that is a deterrent for the owner of these trucks
Yeah.
to not park in the community.
Well, I guess my point was gonna be, like, you said you went through all, I understand the logistical problem of getting a heavy duty tow truck, but like, you went through all that effort of trying to find the owner, the leasing company, and who is responsible and have them come, when it's like blatantly against the law. I guarantee if they started waking up and their vehicles weren't there anymore, it would fix the problem very quickly. So
Yeah,
like,
so.
I understand what you're saying, but like, it's frustrating to hear like, we jumped through all these hoops to make
Right.
sure that they
It's
to give them a
okay.
slap on the wrist.
Because the reason that we had to do that was because we waited 4 days for a tow truck.
Right, no, I know,
I'm
like,
getting the phone calls and I decided we gotta do something.
Right.
So we go and we make,
but I think that's one of the things that's interesting too, like, I know tow trucks in Manhattan have been like drastically more challenging
Yeah.
since the tow pound closed, but like, the trucks, a lot of them, I believe, fall under DOT, and so like, if that means that DOT resources need to be reallocated so that they have heavy duty tow trucks that can come and get it, like, it's tough, cause somebody, like, when something wants to be done, it gets done very quickly, but the question I was gonna ask,
Sure.
not related to that, is, as somebody who is a community partner for the NCOs for the 2/6 precinct, one of the frustrations that the NCO officers would talk about was that they were kind of consistently getting pulled to go do patrol. Is that something that's gonna happen now with the Q teams?
I don't wanna speak for the staffing of the 20.
No, I know.
I don't know if anybody's on from them.
I think there might, is there someone on from the 2/6?
I just know that was one of their challenges, is that it was very easy to pull.
Everybody's staffing is different, everybody's deployment is different, I don't wanna speak for them. I can use the 30th precinct as an example to try and answer your question. What we've done is we've put in priority order, obviously, there's days where personnel is limited, and we all are police officers, right? If you have to go out and answer a 911 job, you're not answering a 911 job, but what we've done is we put a system in place where the Q team is going to be used as a last resort to fulfill patrol requirement. Like right now, we have them operating as a Q team as much as possible. There are days where we run into problems, we have to send police officers elsewhere, right, so we end up, but what we're doing is, even when they are operating as a patrol sector, let's say, they're still being prioritized to the jobs that they should be going to as a quality of life team. So they're really kind of wearing two hats, but they are mainly operating as a quality of life team.
Awesome.
Back to one question, as far as the tickets, what's preventing writing tickets, is it the lack of plates or
What's that?
on those large trucks, what was preventing from just writing tickets with a lack of
So
plate?
a lot of times they leave it, you'll see cars do this too, it's not just trucks. A lot of time people will park and they'll take the license plates off the car and they'll also cover the VIN. So what happens is it makes it very
You can't
difficult for a
identify.
police officer to write a ticket. The only option would be to call the tow truck, they have to open the door, they have to uncover the VIN, they have to write a ticket, and then it has to get towed. So my point is that that's a little bit, although it might not sound like a big deal, that could be a 2-3 hour process. For a police officer taken off the road, answering 911 jobs to wait 3 hours for a tow truck, it's not really realistic. But with the quality of life team, they do kind of have that uncommitted time, similar to what the NCOs had to get that done.
I know that the Q team started in Manhattan in June.
I think it was mid-July, we actually went into effect, yeah, they
Okay, so-
started, yeah.
Well, from a data perspective, like what are you
Things are
seeing?
down 35%.
Yeah, so I should have brought the quality of life statistics sheet with me, but it's like if the last time I looked, it's a 13% reduction in 311 calls overall. It's about a 35% reduction in noise complaints, which is the main driver of 311. And it's a 18% reduction in chronic locations. So that means the locations that have been identified as chronic have been reduced by 18% in the last 2 months alone. So I can attest to the effectiveness of the teams in the 30th precinct. And you know, I hope that we'll only improve on that as we work out some of the kinks of the team.
Absolutely. My last question would be,
Actually, I have a question after April.
yeah. There was a stabbing apparently.
Yeah.
And
That's what you all wanna know.
Yeah.
So 380 convent.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
380 convent, yes, unfortunately, there was a homicide. The person did pass away as a result of being stabbed by a still unapprehended perpetrator. My detective squad is working 24 hours a day since the incident to make progress on the case. It's still an active investigation, obviously, so I can't elaborate too much on it, but I will say that it's an isolated incident. It is not attached to any gang or crew or narcotics related violence. And it seems to be a dispute between coworkers that actually caused the homicide.
Okay, thank you.
That was my question.
Yep.
Especially since it was up the block from me.
Yeah, I
So,
see.
not that it makes it any better, but I think in terms of the community and we worry about retaliation and ongoing violence and things like that. That is not a concern for us with that incident.
There also, there's, the last meeting we had, there was, the issue with the weed trucks.
Yeah,
Parked along
so we
Broadway.
successfully removed, I think, yeah, this happened since our last meeting. We successfully removed the marijuana truck that was at 144th Street and Broadway. Along with that came a search warrant that was conducted into the location just opposite where it was parked. I think the address was 3495, if I'm correct. Anyway, one of the buildings, I think the address is 3495. That search warrant yielded about a kilo of cocaine and a firearm.
Oh, boy.
So where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So they say. We are now actively working on getting rid of the second one that's parked at 143rd Street and Broadway. I would anticipate that one being removed within the next 2 weeks or so.
That's the one with the
That's the white
basement,
one.
the basement.
The one we removed was the one with the basement, where they were moving product in and out from the basement into the truck.
Can we ask you to just touch on, it's a painful issue. This pilot program that allows Common Avenue Baptist Church to close off Common Avenue. From 144th to 145th on Sundays.
Yes. What in particular, what is it? So basically, Common Avenue Baptist Church has been given the authorization
Right.
as a pilot to see if the closure of the area there to give them available parking is a viable option for them. While the MTA works through the processes of the ACE program with the tickets. So historically in Harlem, we give courtesy on Sundays to religious institutions in terms of not receiving parking summonses, double parking summonses. The ACE program with the MTA has made that increasingly difficult because you have a computerized ticket system that doesn't have discretion. And so the DOT is exploring options in terms of how they can resolve it.
So the sign indicates that residents must move their cars in the morning, and there's been a lot of concern about this.
The
So
sign indicates what?
there's a signage that has the NYPD shield or insignia. And it indicates that the residents must move their cars that are parked between 144th and 145th.
Yeah, so we have not, it's a loose enforcement, we haven't been towing, you won't see a tow truck come over there. It's really more of just a courtesy to them to have a little bit more parking so that they have less people having to stack up on 145th Street. There's not gonna be any aggressive towing going on there.
And will that stay the same if the pilot program is successful and y'all implement it?
I don't wanna speak for the Department of Transportation, we're just helping them out to see if it's
So the
Okay.
program is a DOT program.
correct.
Well, and actually I attended, Lyle, are you there?
It's like he is.
Yeah.
Lyle says it's not a DOT program.
Yeah, hi, evening, everyone. Lyle Becker from DOT. We got that question from the borough president's office, not so long ago, and from what I understand, DOT is nowhere of any pilot to close Common Avenue via the open streets or any other of our agency's public realm initiatives. We also reached out to SAPO to see if they might have any idea as to the origins of this pilot. As of now, at least we checked the SAPO permit database, and we didn't see any permit applications on our end. But if we have any updates, we'll keep you posted. I know we've had conversations. I had a conversation not too long ago about this. Like I said, as more information comes in, I'll update you. But from what I understand, this doesn't seem to be a DOT pilot program that I know of or that my colleagues know of.
So the NYPD did not close Common Avenue on their own volition. Lyle, I can speak to you afterwards about.
Okay, it's no problem. Maybe there's some sort of disconnect. But yeah, it might be a good idea to have a conversation.
Yeah, y'all can discuss it offline, it's like that.
I have one other question about.
Yeah, but we'll give it to you and then when we do have to keep moving, but yeah.
About, you're saying when you encounter like, can't remember the name of the task force was, but when you're encountering unhoused people and working in coordination, what's the protocol in helping and like when you're,
Yeah.
making sure you're not setting up camera? What are you doing to assist them?
So today, the example I gave earlier, that was just discarded property there. There was no person there. So we just were able to take the discarded material and coordinate with sanitation, which sounds like a very easy thing, but a lot of times it's not so easy to get the proper resources there just to get a garbage truck and get rid of everything. But to answer your question about people that we encounter that are experiencing homelessness, what we do is we go initially, we make contact with the person, we give them notice that they're not allowed to have the encampment where they have the encampment. We give them a 48-hour period to get rid of the encampment themselves. Then after the 48-hour period, we would respond with an interagency task force that is accompanied by a mental health counselor, a substance abuse counselor, sanitation, and the NYPD. And if the person receives services, they're able to get services right there on the spot. Their encampment is cleaned up, and if they have to go to medical, they would be taken to the hospital. So they're offered all those services right on the spot. It's not that we're just going and ripping out somebody from their spot and furthering the problem. That's not the point.
So 569 West 150th Street. I spoke to a resident there, and they have a big concern of a resident in the second floor who had turned, caused a fire in the building. And this person is back in the building. There was an altercation last week. When I was there, the folks in the building were just scared. They're like, we don't want the building to go up in flame. And this person, from my understanding, the 3-0 was trying to arrest or get them to, there was something going on. But just to put it on the radar for you guys.
Yeah, so is that where the fire marshal made the 61 for arson?
Yes,
Yeah,
the arsonist has
right.
been back into that apartment.
Yeah, so.
He had a fight with somebody in the building.
Yeah, just Jeremy, you could keep me honest here on this one. In terms of those investigations, they are not investigated by the NYPD, they're investigated by the fire marshal.
But there was a altercation with the arsonist,
Right.
with another person in the building.
Okay,
There seems to be some drug use.
okay.
They have videos of this person like being in somebody's door.
Right.
People are very afraid in the building.
Yeah, I mean, are you a resident of that building?
Because I'm with the tenant association.
Yeah.
And I work with Palante, that is one of the buildings that we help, and some of the
Okay.
tenants when they call me.
Yeah, so I would just advise them to call 911 if they encounter this person, if they have an issue with them, the police will respond, they'll
Yeah.
handle that incident in that
Yeah.
moment, they'll handle it. But as far as the arson investigation, it's gonna be handled by the fire department.
I think your detective are looking for this person, it's just to put it on the radar, so
Okay.
this is, the folks at 569.
Yeah.
Everybody in the building is just like, very afraid of.
All right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, my best advice at that point would just be to call 911. I'm
Mhm.
confident that my officers will respond appropriately. I can flag the address just so they kind of know that that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that it gets taken care of.
Yeah, thanks for flagging that first, because the whole building being terrorized is.
I mean, this person already caused a fire in the building, frankly.
Yeah.
Now it's back, had a fight with somebody else in there. There was, people in the building,
Yeah,
yeah, they're very scared.
well, thank you,
Yeah,
and
so
thank
there-
you.
Just
Yeah.
so you know, there is so,
The warrant,
yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah, this is one.
it.
thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, and Lyle and Captain Rose,
Yeah.
watching off say, just let us know if anything changes with this convent parking and any modifications or become permanent. I know y'all keep us in the loop, but thank y'all so much for attending and coming in person, always appreciate it, thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
all right.
Y'all have a great one.
Hi guys, thanks so much.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep moving on with the agenda. Do we have anyone from the 2-6 on? From the 26th precinct? Okay, NYPD PSA 6 Housing Division.
Greetings, April.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's Detective Wilborn. My
Hello.
partner, Officer Etienne, is also on, and we have members of the Q team that will introduce themselves to you guys. I know you heard a little bit about the Q team, but we'll reintroduce for housing, PSA 6.
So
They will be
PSA
covering.
6,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. So PSA 6 has its own Q team?
Yes.
Okay.
We have our lieutenant on.
How's everybody doing?
Hi, thank you for joining.
Hello, can we get your name?
Hi, how you doing? I'm Lieutenant Flores. Currently the Special Operation Lieutenant in PSA 6. I oversee the Q team here in PSA 6. Again, it's a new unit that we have. It was implemented after the NCOs. Like the captain said, we're focusing on a lot of the quality of life issues in the community. We will be covering the 2-6 as always, housing development, and currently we have a total of 10 members, 5 being assigned to 10 a.m. start till 6 p.m. And the afternoon team, there's another 5 officers assigned from 6 to 2 a.m. And
Great.
again, we'll be covering the 2-6.
Great. Do y'all have any, did y'all begin in July as well? And if so, do y'all have any stats of like, how the quality of life concerns have been addressed so far?
Yes. So right now we're focusing on obviously the 311's complaint and certain 911 calls like disorderly groups. As far as numbers, is a new team. We really have no percentage whatsoever yet. There is a program that we're running it through Cognos to calculate all the percentage. As far as the 311s that are handled and 911 quality of life complaints. So we're gonna be looking into that and send out, I guess, monthly reports. So that we can share. Again, I'm still trying to get access to this program that calculates all the percentages. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just waiting to get access to have a clear number of 311 complaints handled, so we could see more or less our progress.
Great, awesome. And so thank you for joining us, Lieutenant Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
So was there anything else from PSA 6? I saw a question in the chat. What is the top quality of life concern for PSA 6? Do you have any idea on that, Lieutenant?
Our top, we do have, I will say, disorderly groups, mainly. We get a lot of the crimes that we take sometimes derives from disorderly groups. Some of the development that we highly focus on in Grant houses, one of the major buildings that we have complaints in 1315. A lot of the times we get a lot of gambling or disorderly groups in front of the buildings. Manhattanville, there's a couple of buildings that we do get complaints. 550, no, I'm sorry, 545 was 126, 1420. We get a lot of most of our calls are from those buildings. Again, we're gonna send our Q teams to address these conditions. That's our main focus. Apart from the noise complaints, but we really try to prioritize these disorderly groups, these calls. So yes, I think that's one of our number one top priority. And of course, our chronic 311's locations.
Yeah, great, thank you. Any questions for PSA 6?
I have Wilbur on the line. Wilbur, you got anything?
Hey, yes, so just to piggyback off of what the lieutenant said, we did take a robbery in Grant houses for the 28-day period. At that location, there were 3 perpetrators. Of the 3, 2 were apprehended. And then we had 1 DV assault, which we don't speak on the domestic violence cases. And then the last one that we had was also in Grant houses, a grand larceny, property taken. However, the person was very uncooperative. So really crime is down in that area, but with the Q team, we will be able to address a lot of the large groups, as the lieutenant said, which is one of our main focal points for grant houses. And that's the numbers for the 28-day period. And good to be back.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good to hear from y'all. Thank you again for joining us, PSA 6, and welcome, Lieutenant Flores. Nice to meet you. Great. So we'll move on next to the Department of Transportation. Lyle?
Evening again, everyone. Lyle Blacker from DOT. Just a few quick updates. First, in regards to our milling and resurfacing, I'm sure you've seen our crews around northern Manhattan and around the city doing our milling and resurfacing throughout the spring and summer. In northern Manhattan, our crews were on Bradhurst Avenue, 145th Street, and Clayton Powell Boulevard, McCombs Place, among other locations. Currently, we're on the Upper East and West Side in CB 7 and 8. And in regards to whether or not we'll be coming back up to Northern Manhattan, I'm not sure about that as of now. Usually our milling and resurfacing season goes through the fall, but usually kind of wraps up in mid to late October, depending on the weather. But if there are locations within Northern Manhattan that our crews would be going to before season's end, I'll pass the information along to you. Also, in regards to the bus priority project on 116th Street, just a quick update on that. DOT did receive a letter of support from CB9. Thank you very much for that. Currently, we're still having conversations with CBs 10 and 11 about the project, so we'll keep you posted about that as well as the project progresses. And again, as far as the Convent Avenue parking situation, as mentioned before, that's information I have at least from our public realm division. There are no pilot programs under that for DOT. There seems to be, I guess, some sort of disconnect in regards to that. I will get in touch with the precinct to clarify and to see what's going on. And I am still digging and doing some research on my end with my colleagues. So any information I find, I will pass along to you. That's about it for me, unless there are any questions on your end.
Yeah, two just comments. If y'all do make it back uptown or back to CB9, there is a big pothole on what is that? I think it's like 143rd in Convent, like right in the middle of the crosswalk, basically.
Okay.
So like it's pretty massive. And
There was one on between 144th and 145th.
That got filled.
That got
Yeah.
filled.
Yeah, that one got filled during the summer. We, as far as potholes, if there are any that you see, we can address those independent of any milling and resurfacing. So, April, if you want to send me an email about that location, I can forward that to my colleagues and we can get that addressed as soon as possible. Or you can refer the request if it has to be a corrective action request, whether it's DP or any other agency, we can send a crew out there to investigate and get back to you. And if it is, a regular pothole, DOT can fill it on its own. Again, independent of any milling and resurfacing that we need to do. So, yeah, just let me know. Just send me a separate email, and I'll see what we can do about it.
And the trees are y'all too, right? Like tree branches over sidewalks?
No, that's parks. So if there are
Okay.
any trees need to be trimmed, for example, in some instances, if there are any street lights that might have obstructed illumination due to tree branches that are covering them, parks can prune those trees if you let them know. Same thing with street signs. If there are any signs that are covered by tree branches or any sort of foliage, that also falls into parks. So they
Okay,
can address it on their end. Yeah,
thank you. Buddy?
no problem.
While we're on Convent, a 146 in Convent, that corner right in front of
the Verizon building, I know we brought it up before, that
Mhm.
area floods. Can't cross the street when there's a heavy rain. I know this has been brought up at least twice by myself and another member. And I wanna know what we should do in order to expedite a correction so that a person can walk and cross the street without worrying about getting hit when they're trying to avoid a deep puddle.
We can send a request to DEP if it's anything in regards to catch basins, if it's anything in regards to sidewalks. I know that this has been something that's been brought up before. Um, I can send another, I can send an inspection team. We have a sidewalk inspection division on our end that we can send to investigate to see if there's any issue as far as the sidewalk grading or any sort of sidewalk defects. So I can ask them to follow up and see if there's anything we can do, at least from DOT's end. But we can also reach out to other agencies, just to see if they can address the flooding on their end when it rains. Usually,
Okay,
rain, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, we can follow up on our end. We'll get back to you.
that's helpful.
So
If you
is
have,
anything-
yeah, if you have photos, if you could send that to me, I'll follow up.
I believe I have photos.
But I'll just,
on-
also reach out to them
Okay.
individually. Gretchen?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lyle, I just wanted to shout out to the DOT for the amazing expansion of summer streets.
But it's the same thing.
Holy cow, I wish that people uptown knew what to do. It was so funny to watch, like, between the first week, it was everyone's like, what is going on? And then the second week, a few more people were out, and then by the third week, they were like, okay, we're setting up for our barbecues early. So the longer hours, the extended distance was amazing. I can't wait for Uptown to crush it next year.
And add another weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So, Lara, what's been, you and I talked about this briefly last week, but what's been
Yeah.
the feedback related to summer streets? Especially with the extension in Manhattan in particular.
Did you ask what the feedback you said? Was that the question?
Yeah, what has been the feedback?
We've gotten both positive and negative feedback. We've heard things, like we just mentioned. Thank you again. We've gotten some good reviews as far as the expansion. I know we had a lot of good programming, along the corridor. It was definitely expanded, along Broadway, 110th Street, pretty much Rivers River. We did get some positive responses. We did get some negative ones, from the neighborhood as far as the type of outreach that was done. We will do a better job of the outreach, getting the word out a little bit sooner next year. I know that there are questions as far as just parking. The thing about summer streets is it's supposed to be more of a promotion of public space and the walkability of streets. So anything that we can do in order to promote that is a plus for us, especially if it includes safety features. So I'm glad to hear that you all enjoyed it, and I'll definitely send the word back as far as even further expansion, maybe an additional weekend. That's what we like to hear. So glad to hear that you guys enjoyed it, and trust me, I'll definitely pass the word back that you guys might want more. So thanks.
Well, the other thing I'd love to see, well, there's two things, is like public restrooms along the way, especially uptown, because there are
They were
linear
none
stretches.
downtown either.
Yeah, there's none downtown either, but I feel like there's more places that you can pop
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't know that there were those bathrooms in the bus terminal, I wouldn't have thought about it. And I went point to point all 3 weekends, like I saw it all. And then the other one, like I went point to point all 3 weekends, and the most depressing section, which should surprise absolutely no one, was Broadway from 120 something to 114, where Columbia and Barnard had absolutely nothing out. Like it was a ghost town. So I plan on sharing that feedback with them too. That like they say they want to be a part of the community. They had nothing. They had nothing.
Shocker.
Just their security booth up behind their gates and their whole thing.
Yeah.
But the public bathroom thing is an important point that you made, because if we're trying to increase foot traffic uptown and in our community. I think we certainly can do that, but people have to know they can access a public bathroom.
Right.
And it's ridiculous that we are so, there's like, I don't know of any that are really easily
It
accessible.
would be
and
Port
safe.
Authority of town, the bus terminal.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and maybe the hospital, some of the hospitals sort of participated. But Lyle, also, what's the possibility of having both sides of Broadway open or closed off?
Broad-
I would say, as far as any community feedback, now would be a good time to put all of your thoughts together and send them to me. I can
Yeah.
definitely pass that along to my colleagues. Like I said, we did get some negative feedback about summer streets this year. So we're taking, much more consideration to the outreach next year, and we'll consider all factors. Um, I I mean, I think it would be wonderful if we could do both sides of Broadway. I don't know if the drivers would like it very much, but you know, like I said, I think like I said, everything's on the table now, as far as conversation goes. So any ideas and input that you're willing to put forward, like I said, I can definitely pass it along and we can have conversations, throughout the year and throughout the season in order
That
to
works, yeah.
you know, make this even more of a success next year.
And if anyone's interested in writing a resolution around that.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
once we start collecting,
Resolution writer.
Oh, yeah, I know. But we have 2 more questions. We'll go to Juan and then Edwin and we'll close.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Ed, and make sure that he can hear you.
Yeah, Lyle, so, there was a resolution passed in the community board for, having the signs of idling where you have the truck sign. Because what you have is that vehicles are being left on for more than the, city limits of 3 minutes. And you go in other communities and you see the signs that says, you'll get a $2,000 fine. Why, is there any initiative to put them up here where you have, because you have all the trucks stopped, right? But then there's no sign that said no idling to remind them. So I think that these two, they have to go like peanut butter and jelly, they should go together. You can't tell a truck, just have a truck running there for hours.
Well,
And
I
then-
take my phone out and then I point to the sign.
Yeah, exactly, but we don't have those signs,
Right.
we should have it.
Yeah, Lyle, do you have a response to that?
I know that over the past couple of years, DOT's been actually trying to actually reduce the signage clutter, due to complaints we've received as far as, just kind of some of the signage we have posted being a little bit overwhelming. But to your point, I can see if there are any plans to bring those type of signs uptown. If there are locations in particular that you feel that signage is necessary, it sounds like on Convent along there. You can let me know and I can create a case on your behalf in order to see if that particular signage can be placed in specific locations, if you have those, that you can send along to me.
Yeah, so we have a 1635 Amsterdam, you see the trucks there parked all the time.
Yeah.
Full blown, and the city has that program where you can just record them for 3 minutes
Yeah.
and get paid.
Yeah, send us the locations. We're happy to.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, Juan?
Yeah, on 149th and Godwin also, that church has a very big space for people to park, and a lot of trucks also use it. To pick up passengers to, different places, I think they take it to AC also. To pick up people there, so they idle for a long time, and you hear them most of the time, but, 2 things, the first thing is. Are sidewalks part of the DOT?
Sidewalks are,
Sidewalks are under DOT's jurisdiction. As far as who's responsible for maintenance of sidewalks, that falls under the property owner. If there are certain locations where sidewalks that you feel are damaged, again, we do have a sidewalk inspection management division that can go out in order to assess. And if necessary, a notice of violation will be sent to the property owner for them to follow up in order to repair any damages on their sidewalk. But yeah, sidewalks do fall under DOT's jurisdiction.
So I'll point you to a direction from 145th, where they're fixing the train station on 145th Broadway. Go all the way into that big school that is now condos or something. That brand new housing place. From there, from Broadway to that place, all those buildings are really old and the sidewalks have immense holes. And if you walk at 10 p.m., you will see the biggest rat in New York City. I walk with my nieces and with my sister-in-law, and they were panicking. We had to walk on the street because the holes are so big that the buildings are old also, so they chew through it. You know that rats don't lose their teeth?
Stop,
They
just scaring
rolled
me.
it right back. Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna
Lyle,
stop
is
there.
it?
So, the second thing is, churches, historical churches in Harlem have built this area, have built Harlem. So if they deserve an hour or two of parking, they should get it. I wanted to say that to him, but you guys were in a serious conversation. But I want people to know that they have built this town. These are people who came from nothing and they built this thing. And they deserve everything that they get because they're good neighbors. If you're not a good neighbor, you don't deserve it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at the same time, I get your point, but at the same time, when you have cars parking in bus stops. And the buses, or in the bike lanes, then the buses are gonna take pictures and, you know, the buses, the machines, the AI knows that you're not. supposed to
And the MTA needs to get their stuff together.
yeah.
Because now we lost the transfer that we used to get. So if you have a family of 5 and you're going somewhere and you have to take a bus because of an emergency, you're paying 15 dollars on one trip. That is insane.
You still get a transfer with the Omni.
No, you don't. It's not done.
There's like some scammy
It's
stuff going on.
buggy,
Yeah.
but you were
No,
supposed
you still
to.
get it.
Yeah,
You're subsidized many
Yeah.
times.
My sister talked about it constantly, it's not really working out.
And the security guard told me that the moment that Omni got the contract,
They just charge.
he knows that, and the NTA knows that. We need to talk to these people and get
Yeah,
out here.
I agree. We did invite the MTA tonight. Alberto did let us know that he unfortunately couldn't make it, but he should be here in October. But I think the last question, and we do have to move on. What is up with that Summer Street? It's not a Summer Street. They're closing 141st between Hamilton Place and Amsterdam. What is that, Lyle? Like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's you and Chin's initiative.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The plaza to.
yeah, it's something, Lyle, what is that?
Yeah, because it's just like kids in
And
the
no
street,
one
but-
attends.
Yeah, it's not really well activated, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's an open street or a play street. If you can send me the location, I'll do some more research. But I'm not
Okay.
aware of anything, at least as far as a permanent plaza
It's-
in that area. But I
it's a
can do some
series-
research and get back to you.
We'll get the information.
Yeah,
to you.
we'll get it there. Thanks, Lyle. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
Thank
and,
you.
We'll reach out to you with the updates and.
Lyle, there's a new commissioner.
Oh,
for
that's
Manhattan.
right. Thank you for, yes, there is actually one more piece of information. Selma, thank you. The Manhattan Borough Commissioner's Office for DOT, my office, we do have a new Manhattan Borough Commissioner. As you know, the former one, Ed Pinkar, left a couple of months ago. So we do have a new Manhattan Borough Commissioner for DOT. Her name is Danielle Zuckerman. She comes from our intergovernmental division. She started at the beginning of August, so she's still, getting acclimated to the position. But she is getting up to speed with all things Northern Manhattan and throughout the borough. And it might be a good idea to, have a meet and greet with her and April and Solomon just to introduce herself to the community board. So I'll see if maybe we can put something in the calendar. But
Yeah,
so far
she
so
reached
good.
out to us, I believe. I think she might be coming to the full board or something. Something, I saw some emails, but
I think Victor invited.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yep, so far so good. Like I said, she's getting caught up to speed. So we're trying to bring her on board as far as all things North Manhattan. So again, anything you have for me, just let me know, and like I said, we can definitely have a conversation, one way or the other. It's never a problem.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Lyle.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Looks like we have wrapped up our agency presentation and updates. Before we move to the action items, Mark. Did you have anything that you wanted to, I don't know when we do like public session in this thing.
I'm just here to hang out.
Oh, just hanging out, okay. Okay, well, let us know if you have any comments or complaints or questions for anybody.
Usually would be new business.
Oh, new business, okay, great. Okay, so the first action item is a renewal liquor license application for Shake Shack on Broadway and 116th. Any discussion around that? I think we reached out to NYPD, there are no issues.
There were no issues.
You said a liquor license for shaking?
Yeah, but it's just beer and wine, yeah. The beer's pretty
Must
good.
be Sundays.
I think it's just here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess they're expanding their repertoire.
Yeah,
Any objections to this?
So there was no incidents?
not to so it looks like, do we have a motion
Yeah, we need a motion to.
to,
Well, so what happens just with the new members, we consider the renewals. If it, we discuss them, if they pass, then it goes to exec board. Exec board then, discusses it, and then if that passes, it goes to general board, and if general board passes, then they get their issue. When it comes to a new, I know we have a new one on here, the Meyer Star Restaurant. Typically what we do is when we get an application, we then contact the establishment to fill out a questionnaire. That questionnaire is then attached to the application. We also invite them to come to our meeting to talk to us before we vote on issuing a new liquor license for them. So that's typically how it's done. Now, one of the things that we're still working on is how do we get feedback from the public? Because that's not something that we do well and we need to do better on. We've been throwing out a bunch of things with the chair in terms of how do we get feedback. Everything from posting on the kiosks to actually posting a sign on the establishments, trying to solicit feedback from the community. So we're still working on that. Just wanted to let you guys know the process.
I was gonna say that the Google form, if it's an article, and put new establishment, and people can just scan it. It'll give you all the feedback on Google form, and you'll be able to collect that.
yeah,
I mean, the bottom line reality, there's a best practice on this, and I'm not sure why we're struggling with this. I've gone through now many different community boards. Folks post a sign outside of the building indicating when the community board meeting will take place and they can come to the meeting, whether it's renewal or a new liquor license. Also in community board 4, if you don't attend, they don't look at your application.
I think that's something we can talk to the staff about.
Yeah,
They don't what?
if you do not submit everything and attend, they do not consider your application. Community board 4 is rather aggressive about it.
The chair, so it was proposed to the chair that we would send something to the establishment to post.
Yeah.
And then the question was asked, well, how do we know that they actually did it?
This is the only thing I object to, and it's a little bit frustrating. No disregard or disrespect to Victor. He's the chair. It has to come to the committee. This is like doing an end game. Even this concept of NYPD does not object. The committee should have access to NYPD, not you two. This is something we've talked about on and on and on. So I think we need to get on top of it. And it's disrespectful to the committee by saying you have a conversation with the chair. We are the committee. The chair is not the committee.
Yeah.
The last time we had that person from the state said that these are gonna pass no matter what.
The
Because
renewals,
it's a matter of
Well-
getting business done in New York. One thing I would suggest is to get the people in that vicinity to come or to get informed. So like in the case of, remember when the Mexican food place was making a lot of noise during COVID? The people in that building needed to come
yeah.
when that renewal happened, but we just talked to them and they behaved better.
Right.
You know, that works.
I do
But this
think
is
that-
gonna happen anyway.
I do think that the board staff, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to go out and post these notices on these buildings. Or in around the general vicinity. I think we can talk to like Kikio and Ashley about that.
Or make it a requirement of the establishment, the operator.
Applying for the permit,
Yeah.
the business itself, post notices, and send us photos of it posted, yeah.
Okay.
We can't guarantee that they stay up, but.
Right.
If they don't have it, that is the red flag for you, right? Because any businesses I have here, and many of us live here. If I'm a business, I don't wanna be telling the committee, I posted it, and then any of you pass by and say, wait. I passed all that business, you didn't post that, because in CB12, they posted 3 months before they're gonna go for the new.
Oh, wow.
Oh, 3 months before.
3 months before. You know, I work in CB12, all these
Right.
businesses, they have it right in the front, you can see, there's no way you can pass by and not see that.
And the businesses are posting it or the?
The
community
businesses are
board?
posted, both businesses,
And
Yeah,
it's
I'll take a picture, I'll show you guys, yeah.
It's just, it's so interesting. I don't wanna derail the conversation, but it is so interesting, like the variation and difference in practices from community board to community board. Like, I feel like if I was a business owner, that would also be frustrating, right? That CB12 has different rules than this one and that one. I just forwarded you guys, CB6 has a really good newsletter. And they do like high level things, but then it clips to their website where you can find out all the information with all the agenda and stuff like that. And at least then you can say like, hey, all this information is in our newsletter, but it's probably not a light lift from the people who work in their office to make sure that all that stuff gets uploaded to the website and stuff like that. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but their newsletter is very well done.
I have seen a lot of newsletters in community boards, and I think that's also something that we should talk to the board office about, is some sort of
Yeah.
regular newsletter.
I could tell you, that we did have a newsletter and it kind of dropped off,
Oh, yeah, it's
For
super out of
variety.
date on our website. It's like kind of embarrassing.
right,
So I would also just like to get invited to all the meetings before we get a newsletter out. Like, I'd like to get the board invited to everything.
right.
So, yeah,
So I know that that's something that I'll be working on with the office staff and trying to see what community board members wanna help us. Post information and get it out on some type of regular basis so that we can keep the board members informed. And probably tie that into the website as well.
Yeah.
So that we can use that as a way to expand our reach.
But I think, yeah, keeping in mind as we build it out, that it shouldn't necessarily like all fall to youth or all fall to Keel, so
Yeah.
that when they're out,
Correct.
you know what I mean, like. However it gets structured, we should make it like as turnkey as possible. so
is
we
that
can-
something that the strategic planning task force?
So,
Just,
Look,
just like
look-
just a fail safe, not really, I do think the board staff should be the ones doing this, but a fail safe that maybe that task force could be managing that or something, I'm not sure, but.
I think we need to look at both. I think even the issue of SLA and community engagement could be strategic planning.
Yeah.
If it's not happening, I think it's a priority issue.
Yeah,
And being a little bit nitpicky, this constant reference back to conversation with the chairs and they'll go. It's gotta be within a committee, more than just two voices. So I think we need to figure that out. And I think we can resolve this probably within a couple of months. We need at least something, a couple of documents, pull them together and something we can all review.
right now, the SLA applications, they are sent directly to the board office because they have to be, right? So then, that's just, that first thing is really easy for Ashley to just be like, okay, and you also have to post.
Right.
Signage,
As soon as we receive this, you have to do that.
yeah,
And the onus can be on the operator.
yeah,
They
like,
say, here's the template, modify the template with your name, blah, blah, blah. And use durable tape or something, post it 6 feet high. I can guarantee, or whatever that is, I think there's some mention of this in the SLA form that came from the state. They talk about these things. So I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel on it, and it seems to be a common practice. Yeah, anyway,
Okay.
I think we should just get it done and.
I would say to you that, Chris, I don't think there is any discordance in terms of the chair commenting and also making sure that the committee has the information and acts on it. I mean, ultimately, the committee should have the discussion around who's coming, this committee anyway, who's coming in to the community and then the chairs
No, my comment is,
updated, yeah.
what Solomon did is he said he's had a conversation with the chair suggesting that's where this is existing. That cannot be, it needs to be in this committee. And then it goes back to executive, it's not you and the chair. It has to be this committee to executive. And that's what I'm taking.
yeah, I think, and I appreciate these comments, we just have to move on, but,
Yeah, I do have some write-ups in the UST folder on the process and the role, like our role as a committee, so you guys could take a look at that. That's what I shared with the chair. And just trying to get guidance from him in terms of what he would like, and then bring it.
It's guidance from the committee, not the chair. It's gotta be the committee.
He's the one that has been pushing for this.
I pushed for it. Yeah, let's be frank about it.
let's, take that offline,
yeah,
but
let's
so,
take it offline.
let's go to the renewal liquor license application, so there are no objections to this application. So do we have a motion?
That was one, right?
Yeah, just Shake Shack, yeah. So, do we have a motion to, what is it, approve this application?
To go to
To go to executive work? Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have a new liquor license application, Meyer Star Restaurant. At 150. Oh wait, that was incorrect. It's on Broadway between 150th and 151st.
It's really on the corner of 150th and Broadway.
Oh, is it?
It says between 150,
Okay.
right on the corner of 150th.
Is it the
Okay.
seafood place?
Sorry.
The seafood restaurant?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a brand new. Yeah, it just opened a few months ago.
Oh, okay. How has that been?
Yeah, be fine.
Oh, is it good? Oh, okay, nice, okay.
Sound enthusiastic. I don't want
Yeah.
to be. That's fine, yeah.
They're good neighbors so far, though.
So far, there's no issues, but what kind of liquor are they trying to serve? It seems like a lunch spot.
Let me see.
Only beer
Let me
wine.
go into the,
Yeah,
Beer, wine, and cider.
beer, wine, and cider. So it's beer, wine, and cider, yeah, so,
That makes sense.
okay.
so we did invite them to come to the meeting. Is anyone representing the Meyer Star Restaurant online?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay,
So does that tie back into, I guess, what?
so I move that we table this application.
So the next,
So yeah, we'll invite them again to come.
a second.
Okay. Next up, class change for Beer Run, which is now, Fiasco, Bar Fiasco on Broadway, and 148. I've been, it's great, really nice.
Is it different inside? I like the
It's
winter
very,
spirit.
yeah, I know, I love Beer Run, it's really different inside, yeah, but the owners are great,
Okay.
I like that they have more wine options, so. So yeah, they're just changing ownership, that's the reason why this application is there, so, do we have a motion to move this to exec?
So moved.
Okay, perfect. Also a second?
I'll second.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, dining out application, so we have a bunch here. First up, Harlem Public on Broadway 149. I'll just go through the list. Mofongo de Valle, The Craftsman, Clove Indian Restaurant, and Kuro Kuma Coffee. Out of these 5 locations, does anyone have any questions, objections?
So all 5 of these locations have had sidewalk cafes previous, just to let you guys know, if you didn't get a chance to. The dining out. And there's 2 different types of dining out applications, I just wanna educate the committee. There's a sidewalk cafe application, and then there's what's called a roadway cafe. So Harlem Public actually has a roadway. Because they're taking up space actually on the street, and the sidewalk. Whereas, I think Mofongo de Valle, Craftsman, Clove, Kurokuma, they're all just sidewalk cafes.
Craftsman used to have a road.
They used to,
Yeah, and Clove too,
Yeah,
but they pulled out
they
of
pulled
the,
it out
yeah,
after, I think they changed the.
They changed the specs, they all had to go
Yeah.
out, yeah.
yes.
There's probably less, right? Cause there was,
Significantly less.
right, because there were requirements for.
Yeah,
outdoor
it's-
and outdoor.
Yeah, it's very limited how you can structure it and you have to take it down for certain months, so a lot of places were like, well, where am I gonna store this stuff? Yeah, but then it's nice because some vendors have come through and are basically renting them, and so they take it away during the winter season and then they bring it back, so the restaurants themselves don't have to invest in it.
so for these dining out applications, do we want to just bundle these and, approve them to be moved to exec? Does
I think that's a
anyone,
good
Yes.
idea.
any object, sorry, go ahead.
Any complaints on it, like accessibility or anything like that?
I don't, because they can't build it until it's approved.
Yeah.
Right?
And from all 5 of these, they're all good neighbors, they haven't had any issues with NYPD, I know that's a sore subject of here, but.
And they're all
But-
in place already, I think everyone is in place.
Oh, these ones,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't know Harlem Public.
I'll just say, Harlem Public is open again, cause they have that.
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and I mean, I see it when I pass by, I'm just wondering if anybody in the community has had plans we should discuss the place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about the outreach issue, yeah, I know that, I know everyone knows Lauren and her team very well at Harlem Public and, at the Wallace and. Right, there's always gonna be a small minor issues with like maybe please stop like throwing your bottle so loud at when you close up and like things like that thing. And she's really good about like handling those neighborhood issues, those neighborly issues. I know that specifically, but yeah,
I think they're right.
okay. So do we have a motion to move all 5 of these to exec?
Yep.
Okay, Juan is first, who wants a second?
She's good.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great, and then we had a street renaming application for April Tyler at West 138th and Amsterdam Avenue, but Signy is not on, so I guess we'll table that until the October meeting.
Any, just make sure she's done, okay,
Yeah,
cause she emailed us, was it 2 days ago?
I know, yeah. Okay, great, so we will move on to, I guess we'll go to old business first, so. One new thing, we, instead of including all the old business, on the agenda, I have moved that to the master UST folder. Just to keep a running list of anything that might be old business. Let me share my screen actually, so then we can just take a look. If there's anything particular that folks want to chat about, there's, so, yeah, these are running things, some of the running issues that we've chatted about in the past. If there's anything in particular you want to talk about, please let us know. Just wanted to do it this way instead of going through every single item every month. But yeah,
I think they did a name change on the billiards place.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh Lord, but different owners or,
yeah, probably just like an LLC change.
okay, great. Probably should have gotten an update on that from,
I know that there was an operation on May 14th on the billiards place. And since then, they kind of have ceased operations, but I did not know about the name.
When you go by, take a look. I think
right,
it's probably a, incorporation issue.
Okay.
you have
That's a, we still are, Hamilton Heights, we're still dealing with the noise issue, actually on the hill.
Oh, okay.
All of the 311 complaints, this establishment continues to pay the laws in the city. And, you know, they were here and there were many violations in the buildings. I still have not been corrected, yet they were still open. They still do not have a certificate of occupancy. It doesn't, it defines gravity as to how they were able to open without a CFO.
So we did invite them to tonight's meeting. Unfortunately, the team and the lawyer couldn't make it. They are coming to the October meeting.
Yeah, but this is, law.
Yeah,
There's no CFO, how were they able to open and have a license?
and I know they had issues in the past, but I have been, so I'm not gonna lie, like, please tell me more about the noise complaints because I go by there every day and it's actually like, they're newer, so it's still pretty empty. I know on Fridays they have jazz, I think, so it gets pretty
Oh,
loud.
yeah, so, the weekends, that's when the noise issue goes up, if you pass by now, it's pretty
Yeah.
empty. But nonetheless, you still have residents.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, when we spoke to Mr. Stoller about this SLA, he said that 2 things have to be done. 1, there needs to be a formal complaint made to SLA. If you go on their website, you can put in a formal complaint. 2 is if there are ongoing issues, you need to call 311. There needs to be an established pattern of noise, that complains. Now, the thing is that you have to be specific of when the noise is taking place. Because if you say that there's noise and then someone comes out and they come and they say, yeah, there's no problem.
It's a kind of mouse game.
Yeah.
So for example, Solomon, I wrote him an email and I gave him the date and the time of the occurrence. There's somebody like selling weed from a basement or something. You do that exactly, direct it to him and he'll answer you back.
So we have the 301 complaints, we have close to like 300 complaints, all of
Give
them,
them an email with all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's that, this is an ongoing issue with, we've been through that with the prior ownership, with, DEP came out, it's a cat and mouse game. And they know this and that's how they get away with it.
Well, it's actually not a cat and mouse game, so, because you called me a couple times. White shirts have come out and apparently spoken with them, so cat and mouse suggests evasion or avoidance. it sounds like there has been discussion, so you just have to bundle those 311 complaints and send them over to SLA. The issue at hand is they've been operating for about a year. We have never seen application. So how did it get this far that we have not seen the application? And I think that might require a discussion with SLA. Like, how did it happen? What are they operating under?
Okay, we can ask us like that.
See,
Yeah, we can hear you.
why did we not make complaints to the FDNY? Because I think that you should be able to close them down immediately if there's no certificate of occupancy. Certificate of occupancy tells you how many people can safely
Yep.
occupy a building.
So,
Well, as of now, 0 people can safely occupy, so the FDNY should be closing them immediately. There should be no question.
there's no CFO, you go into that establishment, they don't have a number as to how many people can be in there.
So then
Because the
FDNY should
building
be
does
contacted
not have a
immediately,
CFO.
and they should be closed because,
They-
and also if you can get in touch with their insurance carrier, you can also have the insurance removed immediately, because no insurance. If their insurance carrier was aware,
So what the
their
land,
insurance be gone.
what the landlord did there, they fused 3 addresses.
Mhm.
That used to be 1635, 1631, and 1627. Landmark building, put them all together, when you do that, now you change the occupancy of the building.
Correct.
They never did that, the building doesn't have a CFO because of all the violations the building had.
And it didn't have a
Bunch of
CFO,
electrical stuff they did also.
and it didn't have a CFO, and when was the grant either?
The Grange didn't have a CFO.
Oh,
Have you contacted the FDNY and they've gone out and they've not done anything?
yeah, we can talk to the board about that, that team might also need to come to the meeting.
Yeah,
We can talk to the board office about it.
because I mean, that's a
So we-
major safety issue.
Just so you know,
Let them
I
be
can't talk
here.
about the specifics, but Mr. Stoller said they have a hearing coming. And he asked us to invite them here and discuss these concerns. So we did invite. Like April said, they couldn't make it, scheduling conflict, they're gonna try to come also, but they have a hearing coming based on
Here,
their.
SLA,
Yeah,
Yes, well, that's
so
what-
I think what Solomon is suggesting is, this is a very good time to bring all of this forward. So that it becomes ideally part of that hearing proceeding.
Correct.
Yes.
Even if it means sending a letter to SLA, independent of the board, with the 311 complaint numbers. Because I did go to, he contacted me, I went across the street and I could hear the music.
Oh,
He's
really?
its place is being used as an event space.
Yeah,
So it seems to be dead most of the time,
Yeah.
and then it'll go out of control. And, yeah,
So I'm not going there in the right times. Well, no, I know what's happening now,
I've
but yeah,
never been there, but building, operating an establishment, that's just a nightmare waiting to happen, that's the
Indeed.
lives waiting to be lost.
we
Yeah,
can find out when the hearing is due and
and that's
circulate that.
the saddest part of it, if something were to happen, how did it get through that you don't have a CFO? And this place was able to operate?
That's.
Okay, thank you for that, and we'll get that, we'll follow with FDNY, but also get the date of the hearing potentially, and then we can, send that your way as well.
And I'll send you the CFO, from the OB.
Okay.
I don't have.
That'd be helpful. So I think that is all from the old business, so I'll stop sharing my screen here. Okay, all right, lastly, new business, so I know I sent over some emails about, kind of the duties and responsibilities of us committee members here. So, we'd like to chat about, minutes as well as, well, first of all, let's go over just like if there's any housekeeping, for Jordan and Dejan, and also, Rhea was on, it looks like she had to drop. So attendance is, required in person, right? You can get an excused absence, but, and can you attend virtually or no? A committee meeting?
Do you wanna?
Yeah.
Answer that? I mean, the goal is to encourage people to attend in person.
Okay, absolutely.
We have to have quorum to vote on things. If we don't have quorum, we can't vote on action items, therefore they just get punted down the next month. So we need, at a minimum, we have to have quorum.
do we have, if the committee member comes in on Zoom, does that count towards forum and?
No.
And they
It has to
cannot
be-
vote, correct?
We have to have, in person, we have to have 50% of the
Got it.
committee plus one, so I think we have 12 members. We have to have 50% 6 plus 1, 7 in-person attendance
In
for
person.
forum.
Except for Ted, who has an
Ted does have an exemption.
exemption.
I mean, life happens, and certainly if somebody has to come on virtually, they have to be visible too. They can't
Yes, they
just
have to
be-
have their camera on.
Right.
So, yeah, does anyone have questions about that for our new members here? Okay, perfect. The main thing I want to talk about tonight with new business are two things, the duties and responsibilities of, the committee members here. So two things, resolutions and minutes. So those are things that we have to do at every committee meeting. And of course, it can be quite burdensome for the whole committee to do. So I thought that it would be a great idea if we could divvy up by month who does the minutes. I know. People are gonna say that minutes are not their strong suit, writing's not their strong suit, et cetera, et cetera. They don't wanna write 20 pages of minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 pages of minutes. It literally hit just the nuts and bolts of what occurred in the meeting, really quick, really neat, easy to digest. But it is something that has to be done. And also to mention that, taking things like minutes and writing resolutions for things that you care about is something that is taken into consideration each and every time you reapply. So if you just sit in a committee meeting like a bump in the log, that will be taken into consideration the next time that you apply for the board.
And
So-
these minutes that you see in front of you, this is longer than usual. I think this was our
Yeah.
longest meeting of the year.
Okay.
And we had the update from the MTA on the 116 problem. So typically the minutes are like 3 pages. They're not 8 pages like this one. You can always use the agenda as kind of like your template, your format for the meeting minutes. So that, again, it takes a village to maintain this stuff.
Absolutely. And with AI and ChatGPT, there's no excuse, guys. So I was thinking that tonight that we could go ahead and just list which month we'd like to write minutes. I can do the minutes tonight.
Yeah, I,
Next month.
Gretchen, okay, Gretchen,
You're gonna be committed to being here next month.
anyone for November? Vanessa, November. Anyone for December?
I take.
On December.
I'll take January. I'll start the new year.
John, February, March, anyone?
You can circle back to me. I can
I
do
can
that.
do it, I'll do March.
Oh, then I have to do,
Like covering, like if I'm here and I have my computer, I don't mind
yeah,
doing it.
well, then I can do April and April. I kind of like that.
There you go.
Like.
The
hot
most
gold
flowery.
sparkles and all the things. I can do May.
Okay, awesome.
I think April scared everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
so we just have June left. And Rhea, is she still?
We can just assign it to Rhea. Sorry, Rhea. Awesome, easy peasy.
There's a program called Phantom
Pamela?
that you can just, use it here, I have it. And it will report everything you guys send it to them for minutes for you.
Is it, so
So we have,
we used to have that with the old Zoom, but now they're using a government Zoom.
Government?
Yeah, there's like a government,
Let me show you what Phantom looks like, cause
so that app isn't available.
so what about AI companion?
I paid.
Is there an AI company? Okay.
So you can also use AI and then just edit the AI. It works really well.
I'll show you what Phantom looks like. You can feel there.
Phantom, like PHANTOM.
FAT.
Of course, but Edwin, is that through a paid subscription?
Yeah, versus a free, you'll see now, and say, hey, Phantom is trying to get in. You give it access and you let it run in the background, and it'll do all the minutes for you. It should be, whoever is the administrator,
It's me, I don't see it though.
it probably should come up.
So you give the
Yeah,
AI
you give the permission
to
to
join
enter,
the conference.
yeah. It's like another person trying to come in, is trying to join the meeting.
Yeah, I used to use something called Otter or something.
Yeah, and,
I think it's harder.
Oh,
Something like that, yeah.
Otter AI was in there, yeah.
Yeah. So is it different from AI companion?
Yeah, AI companion, I think
Is
is
it built-in?
the built-in Zoom app.
This is different, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It's-
This one I use for like, because nobody wants to use.
Yeah, yeah.
My own work, well, this has been very helpful because, it's a very good job and whoever is doing the minute for that time, you can just, that was you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just made you close today. I don't see it, but
Wait, hold on. I need to put the link, because when you do it, you have to invite it, put the link in here.
But that's
I'm
going
gonna
through,
try, I'm
right?
gonna try to get in.
That's coming because you're permitting.
No, so whoever is the administrator,
me.
it's gonna come up and say to her, hey,
Grant me permission.
grant this person permission to record the meeting.
Interesting.
Um,
I'm not seeing it, but oh, thanks for sharing this notice thing.
this meeting is being recorded, you can press okay, and this should,
Well, that's our own recording.
is your own recording, yes, so let it.
Oh, I'm not on this thing. There we go. Okay.
If you go to like the attendees,
Participants.
go down, should.
Uh,
Or to join in. And put in,
where? I'm sorry? I don't see it.
try it,
It's all right. I think we get the point.
If you want,
Yeah, put a link in the chat.
since I'm gonna be coming, I can record it, whoever has it, I just send it to you guys.
Oh, perfect. Oh, yeah.
So I can just use Phantom and send it to you guys, and you guys fix it however you want.
Love it.
Just as one new business item. Are we able to have FDNY provide some type of weekly updates and monthly updates in terms of fire incidents and what's going on?
I agree, and we're gonna get them hopefully to the next meeting. They should be coming to these
Yeah,
regularly.
we asked sanitation as well.
And
It's
since
been like pulling teeth getting sanitation FDNY.
Yeah, cause they come to, so, if y'all didn't know, they do, every board does a borough service, not borough, they do a, district service cabinet meeting. And they come to CD9's district service cabinet meeting, but they don't come here, which is unfortunate. But they regularly do come, they attend other community boards, so we just have to hold their feet to the fire, we can do that.
I'm glad you mentioned, Chris, the FDNY, because when I was coming across on the 19th bus, I was looking at that building in the middle of 145th to Broadway now, Amsterdam, and that fire that happened on the, I guess, left side, wondering what happened to those people. That building is still closed and boarded up, and that's a big building, so.
To that FDNY, in our building, we have an issue on the, there's like at least 15 batteries. That, are coming into the building.
So these are the bikes.
These are the bikes, there's at least 15 in one apartment. And the tenants in the buildings are like very scared. I have a lady, in Indiana, she was here, she's like 85 years old. She's like, I can't sleep. Whenever I hear something going on, I think it's a fire.
Gosh.
I went to the FDNY right here in 139. Uno. They're like, I see it, there's nothing we can do about that. And I'm like, this is very sad, because basically we're just waiting for one of these batteries to blow up. Have a bunch of families be displaced, and hopefully nobody dies.
I don't know if you saw, there was a massive fire this morning at Gotham West, so 11th Avenue and 40 something, that an entire city bike dock went up in flames.
Yep.
Oh,
Because they think it's actually because the building was piling trash on the city, up against the city bike dock and something mixed, but like, I think that was a huge wake up call to a lot of people, because the city bike batteries are solid, like
Yeah,
they're,
they're lithium.
yeah.
What the FDNY here said is like, these batteries are very delicate. If they fall and get cracked, that makes them more prone to be, to go in the fire. You have 15 of them. This basically has become a station to charge the battery, because for every bike that you see, there's 2 batteries that are being used.
Oh.
Yeah, they're
One-
rotating them.
They're rotating, so they can go and work the 8 hours.
Right.
So this is at 476 West 141st. That this is happening. And we have tons of videos of these batteries just coming in and out of the building.
Okay, thank you for that.
letting us know. Just one last thing, the minutes, we didn't adopt the minutes from
Oh, yeah.
June. I'm sorry, from, yes,
Yeah, June,
from June, so, if you guys could take a look,
I'm still on page 2.
yeah.
sorry,
Just kidding,
I know.
JK.
but, I would like to make a motion to adopt the minutes.
As having lived through this, I move to adopt these minutes.
Yeah, I feel like I was there too.
It was over the course of 3 days, so you.
I'm an MTA person, I think.
Oh, God.
So. I can't believe this here.
Yeah, we have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Awesome. All right, any other new business?
I just have one thing, I don't know
Yeah.
who the person is to talk to about it, but do we think there's somebody who? Is there a way that we can fix the fact that you can't go onto the CB9 website if you're on the CB9 Wi-Fi?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the CB9 website doesn't load if you're on the Wi-Fi. So like if I'm ever looking something up and I wanna reference the website, I have to log off, get on my hotspot, go back.
Oh, wait, no, I think I'm on it right now. Oh, wait, no, I'm on it.
Are you? It was not just me, it was all of us last season.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
So it's a block of the euro? Yep.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
know.
wait.
Spectrum.
Oh, and there, I was just on the homepage, I didn't click through. What?
Maybe it's a spectrum issue.
I don't know, it just seems
I
like
think that might
Are
be
they
so
still
easy
having,
to-
are they still having a phone issue?
You know what? I forgot to ask last night when I saw,
Ashley?
Ashley, but I know that we're supposed to be getting a new, system.
But I oftentimes go to the website to go and like try and look at something.
While you're here.
While I'm here, yeah, like whatever the calendar or the bylaws or something.
It felt like that wasn't always the case, but I don't know. if
No,
that's-
it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, we'll bring it up, I'll bring it up to you.
Yeah,
It's so silly, but
no, it's not. I mean, you should have to access it. We're right here. So.
then we can upload those minutes right away.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. That's right.
Who approves the minutes? Is it?
Whole thing.
We have to give them to
The
the
staff,
district
yeah.
office, and then they have a person by the name of Kim, who, she's like the
The
webmaster.
webmaster, okay.
She uploads.
Yeah.
All right,
And we're gonna.
do we have a motion to close the meeting?
Make one of the new people.
Yeah, oh, perfect,
Second.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay,
Great job.
809.
Perfect.
Ready?
I know, I saw that.
I saw that, I'm so annoyed.
I was like,
Mark, where do you live?
I've been carrying my umbrella for the last 2 weeks and not using it.
Oh, perfect, yeah, I was just over there, I was just running past there, this way.
I'm
waiting for that school across the street to finish their repairs.
Oh, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, is that like the biggest thing you're concerned about right now? It's
No,
like,
I'm not. I read, I've got a 5-year-old. This one, 25, so back in June, I'd say, I was the one who said, can you work on the DOT, the bike dock?
yeah.
Sure.
And so that's.
Very good.
I gotta start paying attention to life around me.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, did they put the bike down there?
it came up, no, they, the bike dock, and right now, at DS 125, they've got the boiler.
Oh, yeah. Thank y'all for joining, goodbye.
Well, you're right. And I had-
Where's it? There it is, oh wait, how do I?
I was in